everyone who's joining us so far. All right, let me get started of what I've done today. We've actually made zucchini boats. So I just want to go over, some of the items that how we get to the zucchini boat. First of all, last week I showed you how to do a homemade tomato sauce with the fresh tomatoes. This week I actually used a can of chopped tomatoes by Tudorosa. I always look for ones with like less sodium, and I do find these have less sodium than the normal tomatoes. So what I did is I made a basic sauce, right? I used onions, garlic, and parsley, as you can see, sauteed it, and then I added my tomatoes. Also, I made a meat sauce. I did the same thing, sauteed the onion, garlic, fresh parsley, used ground turkey, sauteed it, and then drained the juice, and then added the can of tomatoes, a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're on our way. So I'm going to quickly show you how you make an actual, the banana boat for the pasta, okay? To make them so they lay nice and flat on your tray, I usually just take an edge of the zucchini so it's nice and flat.
With the veggie peeler, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then what I do, I get a spoon and I just spoon this out. You can put this in your sauce if you'd like. It's all good stuff. I didn't put the, you put it in the turkey or the regular sauce. So we just scrape that out. So we get like a nice, like little thing going on, like a nice dip, so you can fill it up with whatever you need. And then after that, they're sitting nice and flat, as you see. Okay, I'm going to spoon in the meat sauce into the zucchini. I'm going to just fill that right up. I'm going to add a little bit of mozzarella, sprinkle it on top. Right, and then I'm going to do a little shave and a Parmesan. It's nice. And then I'm going to make the vegetarian one, which is sauce. You don't have to put cheese on this. It's actually really good without the cheese also. If you're vegan, you can just add more herbs like fresh basil, fresh parsley. And trust me, you do not need salt when you use that. Let me just add some fresh parsley on there. And that's your vegan one. So I'm going to pop them in the oven. Right. I'm going to leave these to the sides. And then when they're all cooked, they'll come out something like this. As you see.
Yum. Looks great.
So there's your zucchini boat. So I have 3 without meat and just cheese, and then I have 3 with the turkey meat. I use squashes also. I forgot to mention that. With the squash inside, it's a little seedy, so I didn't use them. But for sure, squash is just as good, yellow squash, and it's very in season right now. I did some roasted beets. Okay, to steam the beets, I did. Wash the beets really good, cut them in half. I added rosemary, the rosemary, salt and pepper. The smell that it gives out the oven is fantastic. They usually take about 20-25 minutes. Just stick your knife in. When your knife goes in easy, they're cooked. Now I'm going to show you how easy they are to peel once they're cooked. Right, just get a plate here. Right, so I have one peeled here, but you see the skin is already like coming off. Absolutely easy. So take that off. You see how easy that comes up? These smell so good. I can't even explain. I love beets. So if you love beets, this is the best thing.
They're so good for you, yes.
Oh
Tons
my
of
gosh.
fiber, a lot
Exactly.
of antioxidants.
Yeah. So with my beets, what I did after they're cooked, I added them to a nice salad bowl.
Wow, look at that. All the greens,
Okay.
yes.
Yep. So we got some greens, we got tomatoes, cucumbers, everything in there. The water of the week is lemon, cucumber, and fresh basil. Make sure you stay hydrated. It's really, really important to stay hydrated. I know it's getting cooler, but if you're dehydrated, it makes you feel tired and lethargic. So keep in mind, just keep drinking water. It's really important. One more thing. I got a few things going on today. I have a smoothie. I found another smoothie recipe that I loved. Is with honeydew, which is, to me, like, I love honeydew. Some people like it, some people don't. It's with half a cucumber, fresh pineapple. I put a little bit of ice and a little touch of water in there. Put a little bit more honeydew. It's nice and sweet. I'm just going to blend that up. We have a really delicious smoothie. And there's your smoothie.
Yeah, that looks so good.
It looks good, right? So that is your recipes from me this morning.
Yes, thank you for the Sally Cooper CSA. It's going to inspire us a lot, all those fruits and vegetables that they get. Just so you know, CSA, in case you don't know what that means, it's community supported agriculture. So basically, it's like the communities buy directly from these farms. I believe they're in Pennsylvania. So this is so great, and we're excited about this partnership. So on we go. So that was delicious, the zucchini boats. What we're gonna do now is stuffed peppers. So I want you to see the recipe here. We're gonna go. So these are the ingredients that you can see here. So it's really good. Obviously, the main ingredient, peppers. It can be any type of peppers, green or red or yellow. Remember, again, they're still in season. So I got 2 of these green ones. And then the great recipe, the way of this recipe is basically you do what you fill them up with whatever you have. It's great to use leftovers, and it's very simple. So what we have, I have some quinoa, cooked quinoa. So pick the grain that you have. Any grain. It could be brown rice grain, it could be bulgur wheat, it could be good. I actually have here, this is also leftover. This is what I did is barley, and I cooked some barley in it with some celery and carrots. So you have leftover, you can also use that. We're going to use the quinoa. I may add some of that barley. And then, so we're going to start that. We have some mushrooms in here, a little bit of mushrooms, a little bit. And so this is how we're going to go. First things first is I want to show you how to get the peppers. So there's 2, I actually pick these 2 peppers because you see how very different in shape. This is like your very photogenic, really good pepper on all sides. And then there's the one that is not quite as wide. So the idea for the good one is grab your a nice sharp knife, and you're going to cut around a little bit, like you want to make like a hat. So you're going to go with your knife all around, a little bit at an angle. And obviously this is a good big pepper, so you can do that very easily. And then pop, you take it out like that. See? Now, with your fingers, you're just going to remove the seeds and discard. Remove the seeds and discard. If you can, remove the ribs. You know, the white part of the ribs. You may not, depending on how big the size and how small your fingers, you can get all those out, or whatever you can. Okay, so this is how you set up. And then actually you can, like, I'll see in my bowl, you can flip it and just hit it a little bit, so as many of the seeds come out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now the other thing in here, you'll see from the top, there's a little bit more with, so you could just cut that white part, keep it. So technically you will be able to put it back in there, okay? Remove the seeds if there's a little bit. So that's that one. So this is the good, easy one, right? And the other one, what we're gonna do is, so you can try it again, but this is, the idea is kind of like they would stand, but this is gonna be a little harder, doesn't matter. So you could just directly go and slice it in half, just like that. And then with your fingers, you can just remove it, remove the very seeds, again, flip it again. And so this is the rib that I was telling you. It's a little white part. Sometimes it's a little bitter, that's why we remove it, but it doesn't have to be fully removed, as best you can. So this one came out easily, and then yes, remove definitely the seeds. If the little tip is removed in this part, it's okay. As I said, it's pretty much about anything you have, but of course, we need to have an onion. So we're gonna dice this one. Can you see? Yeah. I have to move all of the stems. So I'm gonna turn my pan, as I slice, because this is really quick, as I slice this, I will be putting in the pan just with a little tad of olive oil. So I'm gonna turn my pan on. I'm gonna put my pan on and a little bit of olive oil. While that heats up lightly, then I'll finish with my onion dicing. If you have scallions, for example, that is great. Use those scallions in this. The other ingredients we have, a little bit of garlic, and I have some mushrooms too. So I'm going to use mushrooms. But basically, it's whatever you feel like using. I'm also going to use a little bit of vegetable stock. And I'll show you why later. But so this is my onion, which is ready. Then I have, oh, and I got some basil from a plant. So see, now it's the time to start getting wintry and it's a little brown in some parts. That's fine. We're going to chop all of it before it goes bad. Remember that when you buy dry basil, which is not, there's nothing wrong with it. This is how it starts looking, and then it crumbles. So we're going to use all of that. We also have a little bit of parsley here. Now, if you have like something like mint, a beautiful mint, this also works with mint. Okay, so as I go, I'm going to start adding my onions. Be a little bit warmer, but it's okay. We'll go like that. Then my mushrooms. I've had a combination of mushrooms. I have shiitake and I have button mushrooms. Any of them will do. Also, because it's going to start some like rainy season now in the fall. It's also a good time for mushroom coming in season. Some of them. So if you see them in the market, make sure to get those. For the shiitakes, you do remove the stem. Those are really rubbery. So, but I love the shiitake flavor. It's so good. You know, they have a lot of calcium too, mushrooms. So it's a good source of calcium. And then the button mushroom. And then the other thing I'm going to do is a little clove of garlic. Can you see it? Yeah. Just chop it, and I don't know if you can hear the onions already sizzling. So they're almost there. If you have time, you know, the herb, fresh thyme, that's also great. I believe we used that one last week, but use it if you have extra. So I'm going to start stirring and start adding to my pan. I'll flip it here. Get some nice color. And we'll go ahead and add the mushrooms. And just as the mushrooms start cooking down and sweating and concentrating its flavors, we'll add the garlic, let it cook a little bit more, and then we'll add the quinoa. I also have, just because I have them, a little bit of chickpeas. You can add chickpeas. You remember the quinoa is a very good source of protein. It's not that you need any kind of beans in it because we're using quinoa, but hey, it's not bad. Use them. I always say use it or lose it. Instead of throwing away food, make sure to use as much everything you have. And there's many ways to do a combination. So we'll continue cooking. We're going to season it with a little bit of pepper. and a little bit of salt. We'll continue cooking. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to set up our, for the peppers. They're going to go in the oven, but I'll just set, this is a pan that it's, make sure it's, you can do it in a little sheet pan or in like a container, like a glass container. I'm going to put it in the pot, but this is an oven safe pot. Just make sure. So like the handle is not plastic at all. So this can go perfectly fine inside of the oven, the whole thing. So you're going to turn the oven at 350. And then you're going to put this in here. That's how we're going to, if I had all these ones that stand well, I can just put them like that, maybe like here, like 2 or 3. If I have them like this, I can just nestle them a little bit, okay? Just keep them like that, it's fine. So that's our setup for that. Then you can actually add, and we can do that now. I have some vegetable stock I made. This is just onions, carrots, a little bit of celery, garlic, and bay leaf. That's it. So I'm going to put just a little bit on the bottom. It'll keep everything moist. This does not have to be covered in the oven. You're going to put it just directly like that. So for now, we'll let it be there. Let's check on our mushrooms.
How long does it stay in the oven for, JP, roughly?
Very little, because if you see all the filling that we have here, it's already cooked. So what you want to do is kind of sweat a little bit the pepper and get everything warm, but it's all cooked. And I've seen some recipes, like, for example, your great idea in the zucchini bowl to have some turkey in it. If you add the turkey, if you could add turkey, but you would add it in this step. Do not put the raw turkey in the mix before stuffing it and then expect it to be cooked fully on the oven. It's a little bit like when you do Thanksgiving. I'm going to add the garlic now. You know, when you do Thanksgiving, now it's very, they always recommend never to stuff with raw meat, your turkey, if you wanted to stuff it. Do the stuffing separately, or if you want to stuff it inside, you need to cook the stuffing before, fully cook and make it really hot and stuff the turkey while hot before putting it in the oven. It really is a mess, and it's kind of like a little risk because you can get cross-contamination from that. So if you were to add a little bit of meat in it, you would do it in this step, fully cook it until fully brown, and actually you probably start with like the turkey and then add all the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so we
recommend to do your stuffing on the side.
Yes, always. So if you see now it's getting nice, so I'm going to put a little bit of stock in here just to moisten it. The garlic is in there, it's already seasoned. I'm going to go and chop the basil just very briefly and add it in here. And I'm going to add, I'm going to add the quinoa. It's about a cup. You're not going to need a lot.
Quinoa. Yeah, I love quinoa. I think it's so good for you.
Already cooked, so make sure it's already cooked. It's not raw quinoa because that also won't have time to cook inside. Or by that time, yeah, you're going to cook it in the oven for like 20 minutes or if at all. Anyway, so see how it's almost done. Let me add my chickpeas. And here goes my basil. So what we do here is just get everything a little warm. So let's get the herbs getting all the flavor from that. At this point, this is a good time where you can just grab a little spoon. Taste, taste, taste. This is when you can adjust a little bit on, no, it's good, on salt or pepper, or I can taste the garlic, which is great. This is kind of like nice and, so there's nothing wrong. You can actually do this. This is a meal, just like that. Turn it off, and then now we're gonna stuff this. I have some parsley and I can add a little bit. I'm gonna add just a little bit of parsley because why not? I love, so I'm adding it just a little last minute. toss it.
I actually found my herbs did better inside on the windowsill than outside. For some reason, they get dried very quickly. But I had basil on the outside, and I kind of like felt that I lost it pretty quick. Then I brought some more basil in a plant container. I put it near the window, and I just water it, and it is blooming still. I get fresh basil. You know, it's really great.
Yeah, mine, no, it's already getting cold, so now it's a little getting, so anyway, I'm going to start feeling this. Remember, I put a little bit of olive oil, can you see it there? Yeah, a little bit of vegetable stock in there. So go ahead and just stuff your pepper. You want to get it, oh, by the way, of course, it makes sense. If you have I didn't have another extra pepper, but if you have a pepper, chop it and saute it inside. Of course, it makes all the sense to have pepper in the pepper stuffing. It just happens that I have these two, and then I prepared a couple earlier so that you'll see the final product. But
can you use different color peppers, JP?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Use green, use yellow. They're a little sweeter. They're great. So whatever peppers you have on hand, by all the means, use them. And then this is it. Make it nice and hearty. So I do it with, if you made it with the hat, I put the hat on. So it's going to look really nice and pretty. And directly this goes to the oven. And 20 minutes and it will be ready. So I'm going to show you. I have one in this container. So this is how it looks. Obviously, they're going to, this is the look of it. So I had to, I put them with the hat on. Oh, one last thing I forgot. When you put it in the oven, just drizzle it a little bit with olive oil, just a little bit all over. The olive oil comes down on the juices in the bottom. Yeah, so we can actually, like, say, let's grab this one. You can plate it and then make sure to get a spoon, and then you can just drizzle some of that reduced liquid. There's a lot of flavor in it. You can just use it to drizzle it around it. And if you have extra herbs, you can do a little bit extra parsley. This is the curly parsley. I prefer the Italian flat leaf, but I have this one, so of course I'm going to use it.
If you, what they could use instead of mushrooms? You
can leave them out, period. You remember I was saying like you can do peppers, like actually put the peppers in the stuffing, so you can do that. I was going to actually show you one more thing. So obviously that would be the end of the product. They're also great because you can eat them warm. You can let them out and cool down and eat them room temperature. And they also hold well in the refrigerator, so you can reheat and eat. So make sure to use those. The other thing I did, and just to show you quickly, is I did a roasted cauliflower, a whole roasted cauliflower. So what you're gonna do is grab your whole cauliflower. You're gonna just trim the stem so that it can stand directly on a sheet pan, and rub it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it. Put it on a 350 oven, preheat it, and then let it be there for like an hour and a half. No, like maybe 1 hour and 20 minutes or something. So this is the end product.
Oh, I love it.
I'll show them to you. Gets really nice brown on all sides. See that? How pretty. And then just take it out of the oven, cut it with a knife, serve it like in quarters. You can take actually the piece into the your dining table because it looks so pretty. Then you can slice it and then serve it with a little bit of lemon in it. So good.
Okay, someone just asked about the scallions. What part of the scallions do you use when you're using scallions? The white part or the green part? I usually use everything, but except for the little bits at the end.
For the scallions, I always I use everything, but yeah, except the tip as well. But the white part, I tend to cook it. Like for example, in this sauteing, if I was using scallions instead of onions, the white part I would chop, and then I put it in and saute that a little bit to cook it just a little bit. The green part, I will just as I added the parsley or the herbs at the end, the green part, already finely chopped, I'll add it into the stuffing at the end. That's really fresh. I also use it for salads and stuff. So use all of that. Just only the tips in the top part where they're a little dry, I just chop that off too. That's it. And they are great. I love them.
Oh, I'm actually not sure if I said how long for the zucchini in the oven. I would put it in there because everything is basically cooked except for the zucchini, like 15, 20 minutes on like a 350. And the beets, same thing, 350, but just make sure that you cover them so they're airtight, so they actually steam in the rosemary and the salt, and all that.
Right. And they're asking also if I put raw olive oil in the cauliflower. Yes, I just rubbed it with a little bit of olive oil before going with your hands. Just put a little bit in your hands and then rub it around, show some love to the cauliflower. And then that's it. It'll just season it with salt and pepper. Oh, and I wanted to add just a couple of things. So just for you to know the nutrition tips for this week. So we have zucchini and we have roasted peppers. Both zucchini is very good with vitamin A and C, and also potassium. It's high in potassium. And roasted peppers, well, the peppers are high also in actually very high in vitamin C, and also are high in potassium. So I just wanted to focus a little bit of why potassium is good for you. Of course, potassium is one of the major minerals in our body. And so you need it for good balance of electrolytes and fluids in your body. Especially, it sounds like magic, but it is. It helps a lot to keep a steady heartbeat. So for people who have heart conditions and tachycardia and stuff, this is actually one of the good natural ways to help you stabilize the heartbeat at all times. So these two ingredients that we call zucchini and peppers have potassium. Now, not only that, many other fruits have that. Green vegetables, purple fruits like eggplant, and also the good old potatoes. Regular potatoes that have a lot of potassium too. Same thing with beans, nuts, and brown seeds. And one little tip more is, with processed food, potassium, you lose potassium and you increase the amount of sodium. That's the way they process food. So just an example, another good source is oats. Oats is a good source of potassium. However, if you compare that, so if you eat instant oats, you're only going to get about 1/5 or 20% of the potassium from compared to rolled oats. If you eat the rolled oats, which are less processed, you get a lot of potassium. But if you eat the instant one, those that come in little packages with sugar and salt and all stuff, the potassium you get is like 1/5 only. So see, that applies to many other products where they're processed. So as always, remember to eat unprocessed food, whole foods, the most possible. How long were the peppers in the oven? 20 minutes. 20 minutes, that's all it takes. Remember, all that stuffing is already cooked. And the question is, does this count as American food? I don't know. I guess this one, I guess it's kind of a mix, because I guess several, like, I've seen roasted peppers in Italy. I've seen them in France. So, I've seen them many places. In Mexico, of course, I've seen them, but I don't know if it's not necessarily like an American food. I know they eat a lot of peppers also here in America, so I don't see why not. Probably stuff with quinoa may not necessarily be, because that's not very from America, but hey, I always encourage people to eat from many different, at the end of the day, America is like a nice group of different cultures, hopefully getting together.
Nice and diverse.
Yeah.
We bring our food together and we become one.
Yeah.
All righty. So it's I think we've finished for today. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you everyone for joining. Stay safe, wear a mask, and see you soon.
Bye.